What if the fate of an entire world hung on the courage of farmers, teachers, and engineers hiding in underground caves? When alien warships filled the sky and demanded surrender, they chose resistance. Not with advanced weapons, but with unity, hope, and a light no enemy could extinguish. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and tell us where are you watching from. Now, let's jump into the story.
Commander Neil Varin stood at the observation deck of Station Aurora, high above the planet Veritas. Each morning, he watched the sunrise touch the fields and mountains below. The sight never grew old. Rivers shimmered like silver threads, and wind turbines spun quietly in the valleys. It was peaceful. It was home. Veritas had once been a lifeless world. Now it was green and full of life. Families had come from Earth and built farms, schools, and towns. They had worked hard. They had made something beautiful. But all of that was about to change. An alarm rang out across the station. Red lights flashed along the corridors. Neil rushed to the command panel and scanned the readings. His heart froze. Hundreds of ships were dropping out of hyperspace. 219. Their hulls glowed with a strange blue energy. They moved with perfect precision. They were not human. Control, this is Commander Varin, Neil said into his comms unit. We have an incoming fleet, origin unknown, full alert. Governor Lena Solari arrived at the station within the hour. She had led the colony for 12 years. Her calm presence gave people hope. But when she saw the fleet on the monitors, she went silent for a moment. Who are they? She asked. We don't know, Neil replied. But they're not here to trade. The alien ships formed a ring around Veritas. They made no demands at first. They simply waited. For 6 long hours, the sky was filled with silent watchers. The colony broadcast peaceful greetings in every known language. No reply came. Then the message arrived. The voice was clear. The words were in perfect English. Citizens of Veritas, we are the Krillith Dominion. Your world is now under our control. You have 7 days to leave. Bring only personal belongings. Leave all infrastructure intact. We will assist your relocation. This is considered generous. Most species are given 3 days. The message ended without emotion. Inside the council hall, the leaders of Veritas gathered. Governor Lena stood at the center. Around her were the people who had helped shape the colony. Defense Chief Rogan Meyer, Science Director Iman DeVries, Teacher Dale Harrison, Engineering Chief Tara Wen, and many others. They expect us to leave, Lena said. Can we fight them? Rogan asked. Iman shook her head. Their ships use energy we don't understand. Their weapons are generations ahead. Even our best systems would last minutes. Then what are our options? Asked Dale. Silence followed. We can leave, someone said quietly. Start again on another world. This is our home, replied Tira. We built it from rock and dust. We raised our children here. My parents are buried in that soil. Around the table, voices rose. Some spoke of survival. Others spoke of honor. Some feared losing everything. Others feared losing who they were. After hours of debate, a vote was taken. It was close. But the choice was made. They would stay. Governor Lena recorded the reply herself. She stood before the camera, her voice steady. To the Krillith Dominion. This is Governor Lena Solari of Veritas. We received your demand. Our answer is no. This world is ours. We carved it from silence. We made it live. We will not leave. If you want it, you will have to take it from us. A message was sent. 12 hours passed before a reply came. You have 3 more days to reconsider. Few species choose extinction. Perhaps you misunderstand. We have taken 49 worlds. Resistance is futile. Choose wisely. Governor Lena. Read the message aloud to the council. Then she looked around at the tired but determined faces of the leaders. They think we are afraid, she said. Neil Varan nodded. Then they've never met settlers before. Outside, the people of Veritas continued with their lives. Farmers planted crops. Children attended school. Workers fixed machines. But beneath the surface, the colony began to change. The caves under Veritas were ancient and deep. Now they would become shelters. Scientists searched for weaknesses in alien tech. Engineers began converting tools into weapons. Teachers became organizers. Doctors prepared for emergencies. The colony that had once grown from hope now prepared to survive through defiance. And high above, the Krillith fleet waited, silent, patient, watching. But Veritas was watching back. The sun rose quietly over the far hills of Veritas. Golden light touched the rooftops of the main colony town. It looked like any other morning. Birds sang. The wind moved through the crops. But beneath the surface, something very different was happening. Governor Lena Solari stood in the operations chamber, reviewing supply reports. Food reserves were being moved into underground storage. Power cells were being rationed. Every factory in the colony had been converted to produce defense tools. This was not panic. It was preparation. Deep in the science complex, Dr. Iman de Vries and her team worked without rest. They were studying the alien signals, tracking the energy output of the Krillith ships. After 2 days, they found something. A repeating frequency inside the Krillith. Shields. It's not a weakness, Iman explained to Governor Lena during a secure call. But it's a pattern. If we can match it, and then overload it, we might bring down their shields for a few seconds. How long is a few seconds? Lena asked. Long enough to hit them, Iman said. Maybe once. Maybe twice. In the underground garages, Chief Engineer Terrawen had turned mining equipment into pulse weapons. Welders became shield disruptors. Harvesters were fitted with heavy armor. Everything had a new purpose now. We're using what we have, Terra said, tightening a bolt on a modified machine. We can't match their power, but we can be smarter. On the outer edges of town, Defense Chief Rogenmeyer trained volunteers. Most were farmers, builders, and teachers. Few had any military experience. But they had courage, and they had something to fight for. We're not soldiers, Rogan told them, but we know these streets. We know these fields. Use that. Make every corner a trap. Make every step they take cost them something. Teacher Dale Harrison had turned his old school into a command post for morale. Children stayed in the lower levels, while he helped organize daily updates, news briefings, and educational activities. He believed hope was a weapon, too. We keep them learning, Dale told his volunteer staff. If we let fear take over, we've already lost. The colony's caves became its lungs. Air filters were installed. Lighting systems built from old tech. People moved in shifts, storing food, training, or helping with shelter improvements. Some caves became hospitals. Others became storage centers. Every cave had a role. On the second night after the deadline message, a small team of scouts, led by tracker Juno Ray, crept to a ridge overlooking the Krillith ships. They carried no weapons, only scanning gear. From a safe distance, they recorded every movement. They haven't moved formation, Juno reported back. They're not preparing for war. They think we're still going to run. Good, Lena said. Let them believe that. On the third day, the Krillith sent no new messages. Their ships still hovered like dark shapes in the sky. Silent, still, waiting, but Veritas was not still. In a converted machine shop, Terrawen stood with mechanic Sam Clark, testing the first portable EMP launcher. The device shook when it powered on. "It's not pretty," Tara said, "but it'll work." Meanwhile, Dr. Iman DeVries watched the shield simulation on her screen flicker and fail. "It's enough," she whispered. "It's just enough." Governor Lena gathered the council one last time before the fourth day began. "We cannot fight them head to head," she said. "We know that. But if we can take one of their ships, we show them who we are. And if we can't?" asked a young council aide. "Then we go down as more than victims," Lena replied. "We go down as voices, as stories, as something they'll remember." Defense Chief Rogenmeyer stood. "We have 32 active defense teams ready. Guerrilla tactics only. Quick strikes, then disappear." Dr. Iman added, "We'll target the fleet's central command node with the EMP. That should give us a moment to attack." "One moment is all we need," Tara said. The meeting ended. No one slept that night. Families gathered. Stories were told. Letters were written and sealed. But there was no panic, only purpose. As the fourth dawn approached, the sky remained silent. Stars blinked peacefully above. But below those stars, the hearts of Veritas beat louder than ever. And they were ready. Dawn broke slowly over Veritas Valley. The hills were quiet. The wind carried the smell of dust and the sharp scent of steel. Nothing moved on the surface. Deep underground, the colony held its breath. Governor Lena Solari stood at the command post in the central cave. The screens before her showed the same image they had for hours. The Krillith fleet hovering like shadows in the sky. No signals. No movement. Just silence. Then, at 0600 hours, the silence ended. A beam of energy, bright as a star, sliced through the sky. It struck the old observation tower on Ridge 3. The tower exploded in a burst of fire and falling metal. The war had begun. Alert sirens rang through the caves. People moved quickly and calmly. Children were led to deeper chambers. Medics rushed to their stations. Fighters grabbed weapons and climbed to the surface. Defense Chief Rogenmeyer barked. Orders through his headset. Sector 1 to positions. Snipers on rooftops. Teams Alpha and Beta. Move now. On the hills, the Krillith began to land. Their drop pods slammed into the earth like thunder. They were machines of silver and bone, walking tanks powered by strange energy. They advanced with mechanical precision, weapons glowing with blue fire. Veritas did not wait. Terra went Zemp. Launchers fired first. 3 pulse waves hit the lead enemy units. Their shields flickered. One of the walkers froze in place. Its power core overloaded and exploded. Behind cover, Lena whispered, "It works." From rooftops and alleys, human fighters opened fire. Their weapons were homemade but deadly. Heavy. Shot aimed at joints and weak points. Every movement planned. The colony had trained for this. In the Eastern Grove, Teacher Dale Harrison led a team of civilians through the old irrigation tunnels. They surfaced behind enemy lines, tossing smoke bombs and charging with stun weapons. The Krillith fell back, confused by the tactics. "We teach history," Dale said with a grin. "Now we're making it." Juno Ray and her scouts hit the second wave before it reached the outer farms. They knew every rock and bush. They set traps. Mines built from old farm equipment tore through enemy legs. Smoke filled the valley as fire spread through the dry grass. In the western ridge, Sam Clark and Engineer Terra, when deployed a modified harvester rig. Covered in makeshift armor and bristling with launchers, it moved slowly but hit hard. Sam drove while Terra fired. They took down 3 enemy walkers before the machine was destroyed by a plasma blast. "Worth it," Terra said as they crawled from the wreckage. "We bought them time." Deep below the valley, Dr. Iman DeVries watched the data feed. Her team tracked the Krillith's shield frequencies. When the timing was right, she gave the signal. Now, a pulse wave from the main tower shot upward, targeting the Krillith command ship. Its shield glowed, shimmered, and failed. Rogan Meyer's ground teams fired everything they had. Missiles, rockets, magnetic mines. One engine on the Krillith ship exploded. Fire poured from its side. It drifted, wounded, but not destroyed. That's one, Hyman whispered. Let's get more. But the Krillith were fast to respond. There. Second wave hit harder. Plasma beams carved through buildings. Drones swarmed the skies. The old school building, now a command post, collapsed under heavy fire. Dale Harrison was pulled from the rubble by two teenagers he had taught. They dragged him to safety, blood on his face but alive. The colony's defenses were cracking. Ammunition was running low. Rogan ordered teams to fall back to the next line of defense. The caves were the last hope. We hold them here, he said into the comm. This is our line. As Krillith troops advanced toward the valley entrance, Maya Jensen, a botanist turned resistance leader, set off a final trap. Barrels of old fuel mixed with explosives buried under the soil. The explosion rocked the valley and swallowed the lead units in fire. Never thought gardening would come in handy for war, she muttered. By nightfall, Veritas was burning. The sky glowed red. Ash floated in the air. The colony had taken heavy losses. More than 200 fighters were gone. Parts of the valley were lost. But the Krillith had not won. Underground. Governor Lena spoke to her people through the emergency broadcast system. Today, we stood our ground, she said. We faced the fire, and we are still here. We have been hurt, yes, but not broken. We will adapt. We will fight. And tomorrow, we strike back harder. In the medical caves, Dr. Saren Voss worked alongside Nurse Tommy Ree. They moved from cot to cot, saving who they could. They had no more painkillers, but the wounded still smiled, still whispered, Veritas stands. Above ground, under the dark sky, Juno Ray stood watch at the ridge. Her rifle rested across her back. The Krillith had pulled back for the night, regrouping, planning. But so were the humans. Beneath the valley now burning. A spark still lived. And that spark was not done yet. The morning after the battle arrived with silence. No gunfire. No explosions. Just a low wind brushing across the valley, where smoke still rose from the ruins. Yet underground, the people of Veritas moved with purpose. Governor Lena Solari stood before the command table, tired but steady. Her voice was low but firm. They will come again, she said. But we are not broken. We are not done. She looked around the room. Faces worn by fire and grief, but also sharpened by hope. In a corner, Dr. Hyman DeVries checked the latest data. The shield disruptions had worked. If they could improve the pulse generators, the next attack might turn faster. I can build a stronger one, she said. But I need a power core from one of their ships. Then we get one, answered Juno Ray without hesitation. Juno had led more successful raids than anyone else in Veritas. Quiet, precise, and brave. She gathered her team and prepared for another mission. Above, the Krillith ships circled slowly. After the damage from the last battle, they waited. They were cautious now. The humans had proved they could fight. And the aliens were watching more carefully than before. Back in the caves, Sam Clark and Tara Wen worked on building the new EMP device. Old farming parts, salvaged metal, broken weapons. Everything had a use. Their hands moved quickly, guided by urgency. In another chamber, Teacher Dale Harrison sat with a group of children. Some had lost parents. Some had seen their homes destroyed. But they still came to class. Why do we stay? One little boy asked. Dale paused, then said softly, "Because this is our light, and we don't let anyone take our light." Above ground, Juno's team moved at night. They crossed burned hills and crept past ruined buildings. They found a downed Krillith scout ship buried under rock and ash. Engineer Cam Rin used a plasma cutter to reach the power core. It hissed and sparked as they pulled it out. For a second, the ground shook. But no alarm followed. "We're ghosts," Juno said. "Let's stay that way." By dawn, they were back in the tunnels. The power core was already in Dr. DeVries' hands. Her team began upgrading the pulse generator immediately. Meanwhile, Maya Jensen and her resistance teams launched distraction raids across the valley. They hit fuel depots. They disabled enemy drones. They created noise and confusion. Maya led from the front. She moved like a shadow through ruined streets, her team leaving symbols of resistance on every wall. Paint, signs, reminders, Veritas stands. In the hospital cave, Dr. Sarinvas worked beside new medic trainees. Supplies were running low, but morale was high. Each person helped, even the wounded. Some sewed bandages. Others whispered comfort. "We survived together," Sarin said, over and over. 3 days passed. Then a signal came. The Krillith were moving again. This time with more ships, more troops, a final push. Governor Lena called a council meeting. "This is it," she said. "They want to end us, but we end this instead." The plan was simple. They would let the Krillith push into the valley. Then hit them with the upgraded EMP device. Disable their shields, and strike hard with everything left. "We don't have much," Rogenmeyer said. "We have each other," Lena replied, "and that's always been our greatest weapon." At sunrise, the sky filled with shadows. Krillith dropships began descending. Walkers stepped onto the valley floor. Drones flew in formation, but the humans were ready. As the enemy moved forward, the pulse generator activated. A new wave of energy burst across the field. Krillith shields flickered, failed. Human rockets launched from hidden caves. Makeshift. Cannons fired. Small squads ran from tunnel exits, tossing explosives and vanishing. In the chaos, Juno's team hit the Krillith command walker. The explosion threw dust into the air and fire into the sky. Maya's team took down 2 drones. With signal jammers, Cam Rin used a stolen Krillith device to overload another ship's core. In the hospital, Sarin refused to leave. As the ceiling shook from nearby blasts, she kept working, saving lives, holding the line in her own way. When the sun was high, the Krillith began to fall back. Some of their ships rose into the air. Others were abandoned. From the hills, Dale Harrison stood with a flag in his hand. Not a military one, not a government one. Just a piece of cloth stitched by the children, marked with a glowing sun. "They're leaving," someone whispered. Rogan confirmed it. "They're retreating. The valley holds." That night, Veritas didn't celebrate with fireworks. They lit candles, small ones, placed in the caves, in the rooms, on windowsills. They called them the lights we hold. Every family lit. One. In the command post, Lena watched them flicker. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from pride. We were never just defending land. She said to herself, we were defending each other. As peace settled, the people began to rebuild. Bale returned to teaching full-time. Maya continued organizing community projects. Dr. DeVries started a science school for young inventors. And the resistance never disbanded. They became guardians, because they knew the universe would always test them, but Veritas would always answer. With fire. With courage. And with the light they held inside.